The gym in Long Beach was a sweat-soaked cathedral of grit, where the air hung heavy with the scent of rubber mats and the sharp tang of adrenaline. Neon lights buzzed overhead, casting a harsh glow on the ring at the center, where Trent Razor Bolt stood, chest heaving, a smirk curling his lips. His opponent, a wiry kid named Mikey, lay sprawled on the canvas, blood trickling from his nose, his eyes glassy from the brutal uppercut that had ended the sparring match. The crowd, mostly locals, gym rats, and a few wannabe fighters, roared, some cheering, others jeering. Trent soaked it all in, flexing his tattooed arms, his shaved head gleaming under the lights. He stepped over Mikey's limp form, raising his fists like he'd just claimed a world title, not a friendly gym bout. "Anyone else want some?" Trent bellowed, his voice dripping with arrogance. He pointed at the crowd, his finger sweeping across the faces like a challenge. "Y'all call this a gym? Ain't nobody here can touch me." The room erupted in boos, but Trent just laughed, kicking Mikey's water bottle across the ring for good measure. The kid groaned, trying to sit up, but Trent ignored him, strutting like a peacock. He'd built his reputation on moments like this, knocking out smaller fighters, taunting them, feeding off the chaos. To him, this was the game: dominate, humiliate, repeat. In the back of the gym, near the rusted lockers and flickering vending machine, a figure leaned against the wall, half hidden in the shadows. Jason Statham, yes, the Jason Statham, stood with his arms crossed, his face unreadable. He wasn't here for the spotlight. He'd slipped into Long Beach for a low-key training session, just another day to keep his edge sharp between film shoots. At 58, he was still built like a machine, lean, wiry, every muscle earned through decades of discipline. His kickboxing days, though long behind him, were etched into his frame, his movements, the way his eyes tracked every punch in the ring. He'd seen guys like Trent before. Too many of them. The crowd's noise died down as Trent's taunts grew louder, more personal. He zeroed in on a group of younger fighters near the ring. "What's wrong, huh? Scared? Y'all know I'd break you in half." He laughed, spitting on the floor. Mikey, still dazed, managed to roll out of the ring, helped by a friend who shot Trent a glare. The tension in the room was electric, like a storm about to break. Everyone wanted someone, anyone, to shut Trent up. Then, a voice cut through the din. Low, steady, with a gravelly British edge. "You talk a lot for someone who hits like that." The gym went quiet. Heads turned. Trent froze mid-strut, his smirk faltering as he scanned the room. Jason stepped forward, his boots scuffing the concrete floor. He wasn't dressed to impress, just a black tank top, worn jeans, and a look that said he'd seen worse than Trent and walked away fine. The crowd parted, some recognizing him, others just sensing the shift in the air. Whispers rippled through the gym. "Is that? Nah, can't be." Trent's eyes narrowed. He didn't know who Jason was, didn't care. To him, this was just another nobody stepping out of line. "You got something to say, old man?" he sneered, hopping down from the ring. He sauntered over, towering over Jason by a few inches, his bulk casting a shadow. "What, you think you can do better? I'll put you down faster than I did that kid." Jason didn't flinch. His eyes locked onto Trent's, calm but piercing, like a blade held steady. "I'm not here to talk," he said. "You want a fight? I'm right here." The crowd erupted again, this time with a mix of shock and excitement. Phones came out, cameras rolling, the gym's energy spiking to fever pitch. Trent laughed, but there was a flicker of unease in his eyes. Something about this guy wasn't adding up. He was too calm, too still, like a predator sizing up prey. But Trent wasn't one to back down, not with an audience. "All right, tough guy," he said, cracking his knuckles. "Let's see what you got. Ring, now." Jason didn't move right away. He glanced at Mikey, now sitting on a bench, head in his hands, his friend trying to clean the blood off his face. Something tightened in Jason's jaw. He'd been that kid once, young, scrappy, full of heart, but outmatched by someone bigger, meaner. He'd learned the hard way that skill, not size, won fights. And heart? That won wars. Make it quick, Jason said, stepping toward the ring. He didn't bother with theatrics, just pulled off his tank top, revealing a torso carved from years of training, scars mapping out a life of battles, some in the ring, some not. The crowd buzzed louder. Someone shouted, "Yo, that's Jason Statham," and the realization spread like wildfire. Trent's smirk faded completely. He'd heard the name, seen the movies, but he didn't believe the hype. No way this actor was a real fighter. Right? The bell rang. Trent came out swinging, all power and bravado, throwing heavy hooks meant to intimidate. Jason moved like water, smooth, precise, slipping every punch with a grace that made Trent look clumsy. The crowd gasped as Jason ducked a wild right hand, his feet dancing lightly on the canvas. Trent roared, frustrated, and lunged with a kick, aiming for Jason's ribs. Jason caught the leg under his arm, twisted, and sent Trent stumbling. The gym exploded in cheers. "You done talking?" Jason asked, his voice steady even as he circled. Trent's face reddened. He charged, throwing a flurry of punches, each one wilder than the last. Jason didn't throw a single strike yet, just weaved, blocked, and waited, his eyes reading Trent's every move. It was surgical, almost cruel in its precision. Trent was tiring, his breaths coming in ragged gasps, his confidence cracking. Then Jason struck. A sharp jab snapped Trent's head back, followed by a low kick that buckled his knee. Trent swung wildly, desperate, but Jason was already gone, circling again. Another jab, then a hook to the body that made Trent wince. The crowd was on its feet, screaming. Trent's punches slowed, his guard dropping. Jason saw the opening and took it, a spinning back kick, clean and brutal, caught Trent square in the chest. He hit the canvas hard, the air whooshing out of him. The gym fell silent again, save for Trent's labored breathing. Jason stood over him, not gloating, not taunting, just watching. "Get up," he said quietly. "You're not done." Trent scrambled to his feet, pride outweighing pain. He raised his fists, but the fire was gone from his eyes. He knew he was outclassed. The crowd sensed it too, their cheers turning to murmurs. Jason didn't want to destroy him, not like Trent had done to Mikey. This wasn't about humiliation. It was about teaching a lesson. They traded a few more blows, Trent's punches sluggish, Jason's measured and controlled. Finally, Jason landed a clean right cross, not hard enough to knock Trent out, but enough to sit him down again. The bell rang. The fight was over. Jason didn't raise his fists or bask in the crowd's roar. He walked over to Trent, who was slumped against the ropes, and offered a hand. Trent stared at it, then at Jason, his face a mix of shame and defiance. After a long moment, he took the hand and pulled himself up. "You got skill," Jason said, his voice low so only Trent could hear. "But you're fighting the wrong battles. Use it for something that matters." Trent didn't respond, just nodded, his eyes on the floor. The crowd was still buzzing, phones capturing every second, but Jason was already walking away, grabbing his tank top and heading for the lockers. He paused by Mikey, who looked up, still dazed but now wide-eyed with awe. "You alright, mate?" Jason asked. Mikey nodded, managing a weak smile. "Yeah. Thanks." Jason clapped him on the shoulder. "Keep training. You've got heart." As he walked out of the gym, the crowd parted again, some clapping, others just staring. The video would hit the internet within hours, racking up millions of views, sparking debates about whether it was staged, whether Jason Statham was really that good. But in that moment, none of it mattered. For Jason, it wasn't about the fight or the fame. It was about the kid on the bench, the one who'd get back in the ring someday, stronger for it. It was about showing a bully what real strength looked like, not just in a punch, but in knowing when to throw it, and when to walk away. Outside, the Long Beach night was cool, the stars muted by city lights. Jason zipped up his jacket, his breath visible in the air. He didn't look back. He didn't need to. The lesson was delivered, and the gym would never be the same.